Welcome to Peculiar Tales, the show where we dive into the stranger things in history, urban legends, ghost stories, and anything else we find, well, peculiar. I'm Dawn.
And I'm Christy. So, Dawn, one of your favorite movies, as well as one of mine, is Rose Red.
Such a good movie.
Now, Rose Red was loosely based off of our story today.
You know,
Yeah,
really?
it was.
That's exciting because I super love that movie.
I know you do. I knew you'd get excited about that little tidbit. So, this week's episode, we're talking about a tale that takes us into the heart of California's most mysterious mansion, an architectural anomaly with a tragic origin, a woman tormented by grief, and a legacy haunted by more than just rumors. This is the story of Sarah Winchester and the house that may have been built for ghosts. Sarah Lockwood Purdy was born September 1st, 1839, in New Haven, Connecticut. She came from a well-educated upper-class family, and by all accounts, she was intelligent, charming, and cultured. She was fluent in Latin, French, Spanish, and Italian. She had a musical gift, playing piano, and had a deep knowledge of literature. In 1862, she married William Wart Winchester, heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, the creator of the famous Winchester rifle, the gun that won the West, as they say. Fast, deadly, and reliable. It revolutionized warfare and hunting, and it made the Winchester family unimaginably wealthy. But that wealth came at a steep price: blood. These rifles claimed thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of lives on the battlefields across the frontiers and elsewhere. Its presence cast a long, dark shadow.
Sarah and William had one daughter, Annie. She was born in 1866. Tragically, she died just over a month later from marasmus, an extreme form of malnutrition. It devastated Sarah. She withdrew from society, and then in 1881, her husband died of tuberculosis, leaving her alone and with a fortune of 20 million. Round that off today, and that's about 600 million in today's money, plus a daily income of $1,000 from company stock. But wealth alone cannot bring peace. During the late 1800s, spiritualism gained widespread popularity, rooted in the belief that communication with the dead was possible through mediums, seances, and spirit photography. Modern spiritualism is generally considered to have begun in 1848 in New York with the Fox sisters, Margaret and Kate, and it exploded during and after the Civil War, when thousands were desperate to reach their lost loved ones. It's said that, consumed with grief, Sarah sought out a medium in Boston. The story goes that the medium told her she was cursed by the spirits of those killed by the Winchester rifle, and that the only way to appease them was to move west and build a home for the dead. She was told never to stop building, that if construction ever stopped, the spirits would claim her life.
So Sarah did what most wouldn't. She left Connecticut, bought an unfinished farmhouse in San Jose, California in 1884, and began building, and building, and building. Sarah employed carpenters who worked in shifts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 38 years straight. Sarah paid handsomely. Workers were paid nearly 3 times the going rate, plus room and board. That's part of why her crew stayed loyal, even if they were confused by the bizarre layout. There was no master blueprint, no real plans. She was the architecture, the designer, and the foreman. She would sketch out new rooms, hallways, and staircases, often in the middle of the night, and present them to the crew each morning. The result? A mansion of mystery.
160 plus rooms, at least 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows. Wow. Some staircases go nowhere. Doors open into the walls. Windows look into other rooms. And there's a cabinet door that opens to a 15-foot drop. Then there's the switchback staircase, a tight, twisting staircase with tiny little steps. Not for aesthetic reasons, but function. Sarah had severe arthritis later in life. These stairs were built so that she could move around easier, slowly, but steadily. She also had an elaborate interior touches, like gold and silver chandeliers and Tiffany stained glass windows with spiderweb motifs. In the center of the house is a tiny secret room that apparently only Sarah had access to. The room has 3 exits. One is a drop down door. Legend says that she entered nightly at midnight to consult with the spirits and determine the next day's building plans. Some say she wore a black mourning veil during these sessions, in candlelight and whispering to unseen guests. It is said Sarah rang a bell at midnight and again at 2 a.m., perhaps to summon and then dismiss the spirits.
Many visitors and staff over the years have reported paranormal activity like cold spots, whispers, moving shadows, and the feeling of being watched. One common sight is a man in workman's overalls pushing a wheelbarrow. Many believe he's the spirit of a former carpenter still on the job. Ghost hunters and paranormal investigators have spent nights there, often reporting strange EMF readings, sudden equipment failures, or disembodied voices. But skeptics argue that there's no proof Sarah built the house out of fear, and no historical records of her visiting a medium. Some say she was just eccentric, an amateur architect with endless money and a deeply personal grief that she never wanted to face head on. And maybe the house was less about ghosts and more about staying busy as kind of a therapeutic through creativity process. So what do you think, Dawn?
I think that it's possible. I think it's possible um, that there could be
She
ghosts
was
there.
haunted by the spirits of the dead?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a far leap, right? Like she was heartbroken. She lost her daughter. Her husband's like a huge company. He passed away, and that company was built on the money from the blood of the dead,
Right.
basically, whether it be animals or people
Mm-hmm.
in a war. And that was a lot of
Yeah.
guilt. So that can do a lot to the human
Well, and
brain.
that's the thing, right? You have like this um, haunted possibility that caused all of this,
Mhm.
right? The story that everybody loves to tell about Sarah Winchester. But then there's also the possibility that it was pure grief. I mean, she did lose her daughter very quickly. She lost her husband. She's got this company that she now has to run that I'm sure is being thrown in her face on some level that it's death company, it's created something that has just at that time made a weapon that was so precise and so good at its job.
And let's just take in for a hot second there that she was a woman
Mhm.
to surrounded by men who built this company, surrounded by men who are using these guns at the time.
Yeah.
And it's a woman in charge of this company. Like that
It's a lot of
that's
pressure.
a lot on her shoulders, you
Yeah, it
know?
is.
But like I'm no skeptic. I believe in
Mhm.
paranormal, right?
Right.
So I feel like after seance or whatever, that something's about to visit.
Right.
Something could happen.
Right. And
That's just my point of
and
view.
then there's just the thought that maybe she was just eccentric. Maybe she was just a little out of the box and liked to do things
Maybe.
that were a little bit different than everybody else, right? I mean, She was, like you said, a woman in what would have been a man's world at the time, running one of the biggest companies out there, and
Endless
with
money.
endless money, she might have just been really eccentric.
Yep, that's factual. So, in 1906, the Great San Francisco earthquake caused massive damage. A 7-story tower Sarah had built collapsed. She took it as a sign and sealed off much of the damaged parts of the home, never to be repaired. So, what happened to the house after Sarah died in 1922? Well, despite all the money she had spent, and trust us, it was a lot, the house wasn't considered valuable. Why? Because it made no sense. Rooms were unfinished, there was no rhyme or reason to the layout. It was practically unsellable as a home. It was auctioned off, though, and a local investor named John Brown leased it, and he quickly turned it into, you guessed it, a tourist attraction. The Winchester Mystery House officially opened to the public in 1923, just a few months after Sarah's death. They advertised it as a haunted mansion almost immediately. They knew that they had mystery, ghost stories, weird architecture. It sold itself. Reporters even coined the name Mystery House. And here's the kicker, the very first tour guide claimed that Sarah built that home to appease spirits. That idea may have started as marketing, but it quickly became the official narrative.
So the line between legend and truth started blurring right away. Over the years, the mansion became a cultural icon, appearing in documentaries, ghost hunting shows, and even horror movies. The mansion, it's still there, open for tours year-round, with flashlight tours at night. Some rooms are still sealed off, and there are areas where electronics fail mysteriously. In 2016, a hidden attic room was discovered that had been sealed off for nearly 100 years. Inside were a pump organ, a Victorian couch, and an old dress form, just sitting there, waiting. Imagine being the person who found that. No, thank you.
Sarah left no diaries, no public interviews. Everything we know about her motivation is secondhand, shaped by rumors, assumptions, and the imaginations of storytellers. But maybe that's fitting. Her house is a labyrinth. So is her story. It's full of doors and dead ends, truths hidden in all the walls.
Whether she was building to keep the spirits out or her own memories in, she built something unforgettable, and the Winchester Mystery House stands as one of the strangest homes in the world, a mansion that stands as a monument to unanswered questions. Thank you for listening today, and be sure to join us on our social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. And until the peculiar calls again for another tale, bye for now.